All the peaceful, moderate Muslims are going to speak up. We're going to unite. And we're not going to let these stupid extremists make us all look like extremists. And boy, I was very wrong.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to Nick Talks. This episode's returning guest and still amazing guest. And by the end of this podcast, you'll think she's even more amazing than you did last time she was on my podcast. And it's Lubna Fahan. How are you doing?
I'm okay, and I'm very grateful that you've invited me back, Nick.
No, I'm so happy that you've come on. I'm happy in many ways. I'm happy I'm speaking to you. I'm happy that you're safe, and we're going to get into what all that's about right now. Now, we've had two conversations. One was on my channel, one was on your channel. Extremely intelligent conversations, discussing issues that are very complicated, that require nuance. I think both me and you would agree. We probably know we're not 100% right on all our views on these things because they're so complicated. But at least we're attempting to unpick some of it, talk about Islam, talk about the Pakistani British community, talk about how it's the white liberals who are causing these problems in their own country. And these are topics people wouldn't want us to have. The establishment don't want us to have them. The bigots don't want us to have them. The left and the right don't want these conversations. But me and you are quite willing to have those conversations because I feel we're both sensible adults who love this country. And unless we discuss our problems, how are we ever going to solve them? That's the crux of it for me. Now, you've discussed the Pakistani Muslim community, Islam. Some people will think you've been critical of it, and you probably have been critical of parts of it because we should be critical of lots of things in our country when we're discussing these topics. And I'm sure when we spoke last time, you had a backlash. The backlash has increased and increased. And up to a couple of days ago, when I reached out to you, about a month or two ago, the last thing I saw of you was a video saying you're leaving your house, you're having to escape. The threats of violence have got far too much. You know, you've got a small family, and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is going on? What's going on?
What's going on is that I have completely underestimated how much of a big problem we have in the UK. I thought this was just a few bad apples. And you know what? On my channel, I'm going to be able to solve it. All the peaceful, moderate Muslims, which are the majority, I'm told myself, right, by everyone who talks about this topic, all the peaceful, moderate Muslims are going to speak up. We're going to unite. And we're not going to let these stupid extremists make us all look like extremists. And boy, I was very wrong. No, there are not just a few bad apples. For me, I'm struggling to find the good apples. And I'm from within this community. So I've been personally taken aback because the fact is it's not normal, unusual for people from within the community to question things. Everyone is like a sheep and they go with the flow. So I am an odd one out anyway. And a lot of the people who are criticizing people from my race and religion seem to be either non-Muslims who are skeptical, you know, of Muslims in Europe or in the West, or they are ex-Muslims, right? So where we are now is when I started this journey, I didn't realize how much of a trouble I'm going to get myself into. Like the tolerance levels are so low, and I do avoid talking about the religion, and I do avoid criticizing the scripture and stuff like that, because I know that there are messed up people mentally who can't handle it. They can't handle any kind of even discussion about things. And so what I try to do is I focus my attention not on scripture, but on people, human behavior. So I thought if I did that, surely they would not misunderstand my intent. They're not going to take it personally. Because usually what we hear is, oh, actually Muslims are getting defensive. They hold you completely accountable for stop hiding behind your religion. And when I did that, actually they felt even more exposed. So yeah, I completely underestimated people from my own community, and I'm now shocked at the state of the UK. Like, we could talk about it, and by talking about it, we will resolve and unite. But actually, even the moderate, peaceful Muslims who these are people that think they are moderate, peaceful Muslims. I'm sorry, under my categorization, under my classification, you're not. You're very much the saying that I've been threatened. People have turned up at my door. Non-Muslims, right? People who don't know me, they felt sorry for me. But the Muslim community, even then, the peaceful, moderate Muslims, they did not feel sorry for me. Even the ones who would say, "Oh, this is bad," they would always have a but or an if, and that was like the one or two messages of, "Actually, this is bad. What happened to you?" But the rest of them were like, "Oh, great, fantastic! Now she's going to stop doing this, and amazing." And I was like, "Whoa!" And these are people who will not call themselves an extremist. I'm thinking, do you know how, can I swear on this podcast
Of course you can.
or not? Shall I
Yeah.
avoid swearing?
No, 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 swear. All you like.
Okay, I was gonna say, do you know what? That's pretty fucked up.
Hmm.
That is pretty fucked up where you think it's okay for people to threaten me just because you want my channel gone. Because the fact is I was exposing you guys, and hopefully you guys are listening to this right now. I was exposing you guys. You guys are hiding behind your religion and scripture and saying that's our excuse. And what I did is I said, let's put the scripture and your religion to one side. I honed in on your behaviors and your actions. So you couldn't use the Islamophobia card. You couldn't use the whole she's bashing Islam. Let's try to kill her. Although you're still trying to do that because you're trying to put false allegations on me. Because I put the focus on you and your behavior, you knew there is nowhere for you guys to go. And people, the bad apples, there's not a few bad apples. We need to. Okay, my video's gone. But
Yeah.
sorry guys, for the viewers, can I just explain my situation?
Yeah.
My video and audio is going to be not great because I don't have a good internet connection because as you know, I am on the run. I am undercover. Things are not going to be perfect, guys, like before where I'm coming and I'm showing you my house and the background's amazing and my video is showing and my mic's amazing. I'm sorry. This is the reality of someone in my situation, okay? Where you're not gonna like it's literally just gone off now on my camera. And no, the audience need to know this the reality of the situation that someone like me is in. When people say, why do not more Muslims speak up? Why do more Pakistanis not speak up? Well, this is it, guys. Because when we speak up, we're the first to be attacked. And in my race and religion, this is unheard of. A woman speaking up, questioning things, and we don't have the answers. And do you know what? We should not even talking about the religions. Aren't even like put all this is the thing with these people. They shouldn't be in this country, Nick. Let's be honest. Let's just talk about the elephant in the room. These people do not have British values. They can fuck right out of this country. I don't want these people here. I don't feel safe in this country anymore. This is not the country that I grew up in. I should not have to feel this way. Why is it not the extremists running for their life and scared that the police are going to get them? Why is it someone like me? This is ridiculous. This is the future of Britain, guys. This is me now. It's going to be you next. Simple as that. I am an example of what's to come. And if you don't think this, I'm not trying to scare. Actually, I am trying to scare you guys because it's very important you get scared and you wake up to the reality. I'm now sitting here, not in my home, scared for my life, with a shit internet connection where even the video is now gone off. Okay, this is the reality of the situation. And I just released a video as well, and it's titled "Muslims Are Everywhere." I'm sorry, but they are. Yes, there are in some places of the UK there are less Muslims, and and in other areas there are more Muslims. And of course, I've gone somewhere where there are less, but they're still everywhere. Doctor surgery, the doctors, the taxi drivers, like teachers, the recruitment agent, the police officers. I'm sorry, it will take one psycho to give my information. So hence why I'm very, very secretive about where I am and all that kind of stuff. And even online, I'm not giving away too much, I'm not saying much about anything. People can keep guessing, and I may even lie about some certain things, so people keep going in the wrong direction, right? But this is a situation I'm in, and I'm just shocked. Like, is this not the country that was well known for women's rights and rules and regulations, and we were the pioneers? Is this really the same country? I'm sorry, this country is unrecognizable. I'm so scared, Nick. I don't know what else to say.
No, I can hear it in your voice. I don't know how we've got into this situation. Um, and there's many reasons why we're here and why this country's failing, and mass immigration is one of them. And what I'd like to ask these people who are threatening you and have got you this scared is, what do you want? Do you want the UK to be a replica of where you came from, Pakistan? Because if you do, Pakistan's a shithole, and either you or your family ran away from Pakistan to get a better life, and now you're here. You seem to be wanting to turn the UK into your ancestral homeland, which you and your relatives and your father and grandfather didn't want. I don't understand what they want and their driving force. The only thing I can think of is because we keep importing more people from these areas. So the original immigrants from the 60s, 70s, and 80s have never had isolation enough to integrate fully and properly because we're always bringing more over. So therefore, they're living in their own communities. They're living in little Karachi, little Bangladesh, little Somalia, and they're not integrating, and that's a huge problem. But I want to get into a bit more detail. Everybody gets threats online. Everybody gets hurty words online. What were these threats you were getting, and was it more than just online? Did people find out where you lived? How dangerous was it? How scared were you?
It's dangerous enough for me to have left my home. And yes, people turned up at my door. And they were with the online threats as well, and they're turning up at my door. Um, and they told each other. They told each other. So the community, especially in Luton, people know each other and they talk. From the taxi drivers to the halal, the shop, the guy in the meat shop, giving the halal meat, they all talking about it, and they're like, I'm sorry, like it got really crazy. People coming outside my door, the cars being parked, keeping like threatening me essentially. Okay, so and I'm not going to wait for someone to attack me, obviously, right? And there's no chance I'm going to survive anything like that. So, and as you know, the police situation is that, and I don't want to talk too much about this because the people who have threatened me, and other new people turn up all the time trying to threaten me online. I'm assuming it's new people, but like, I don't want to give too much information because they're also probably listening to this. They're trying to get clues about what am I talking to the police about and what have I done and what have, and I don't want to tell them all that. And that's the problem that, and I want the viewers to understand this as well, that I can't talk about everything, guys. I know you guys have a lot of questions, but I'm sorry, if you really care about me, you're gonna, there's two things. If you care about me and you trust me, trust that I can't talk about everything and don't expect answers about this and that and all this kind of stuff. And if you don't trust me, just don't subscribe, just don't follow my content. End of story. But don't expect me to tell you what's going on in detail. Yes, the police has been involved. Yes, people turned up at my door. Yes, I've been threatened. Yes, I continue to be threatened. Some messages I do post on my community page on my YouTube as a record as well of these IDs and people, right? A lot of these people with these IDs, they've had these IDs for 12 years. It says 12 years, 5 years, 3 years. It's not like someone just created an ID to threaten me. And these are loads. This is relentless. Like, it's relentless the number of messages I get. And like I said, 99% of the messages I get from Muslims, I'm having to block that person. Where are the peaceful Muslims? Where are the good Muslims? There's literally one or two or three that come on my channel, and they're religious. They say that they're religious as well, that they pray, but the rest of them, I'm sorry, they're too closed-minded. It's like they just don't have the mental ability to understand what I'm trying to say. I'm criticizing the people. They hear I'm criticizing the religion. It's just stupid to me. It's like, I feel like it's trying to talk to someone in English who only understands, I don't know, Chinese. Like, that's how I feel. Literally, we're speaking different languages. Like and these people, the scary thing is a lot of these people have been born, they were born in this country. They have children here. They still haven't integrated. And a lot of these people hate this country. I'm sorry, if you're hating the country you're living in, you're a despicable human. And when someone's calling you out, you have the audacity to threaten me. If you don't like this country, get out of this country. We would rather not have you. But no, these people are not going to leave. And this is the problem. We're too tolerant in the UK. No, I'm not asking for people to become violent, But what I'm saying is we've let our standards down. It's as if like we're worth nothing. And do you know what? We're becoming worth nothing. The the way things are going, Nick, the British passport will get devalued and we're all going to get screwed because then even if we wanted to leave this country, we're not going to be able to. So that's how I feel at this point in time.
Oh yeah, I mean, who wants to take British people fleeing from the UK when they could be Islamists and terrorists? Because we've let so many in the country and they've all got British passports. So why would they trust any of us, a foreign country? A point you raised then about us being tolerant, that's part of the issue. We, we've become tolerant of people who are intolerant of us. And even though we want to be tolerant, there has to be limits. And one of those limits is we shouldn't tolerate intolerant people because they break the whole system and break down all the trust. Now, you mentioned good Muslims. So do you still think good Muslims exist in this country? Are they just hidden and silent and are so scared they won't speak up? Or are the people you thought were good Muslims, are they really not as good as you thought they were?
So I know what the viewers are going to probably be saying that when we talk about good Muslims, we're not talking about uh, good Muslims in the sense that they're good with their religion and they're religious. We're talking about people who essentially, from our perspective, have British values and they get it. Um, like I said, I'm shocked at the very low amount. Given if I go by my personal experience, the percentages are very low, Nick. The people like me, I would say, are I've hardly any I've met. I think that I am different from people from my background. But the people that still have the critical reasoning skills to at least try to come to the table to listen to what I have to say, even that percentage is low. I would say 95% of these people are just not used to hearing any kind of criticism and they just assume people are talking about the religion because they have this victimhood mentality. So even when you're not talking about it, they think you are, or they're used to falsely accusing you of that. So just to shut you up. They get so sensitive. It's like they have been programmed to be sensitive. They have been programmed to lash out. Um, and be intolerant. And I was like that as well, to be fair, a little bit growing up. So I think generally we need to, I would like people to understand, and you guys probably already know this, especially the Patriots, is not all cultures are equal. Not all ideologies and ways of thinking are equal or compatible with the West. Actually, some ideologies and some people and some cultures are actively against, I would say, even hostile towards the Western way because it's the complete opposite. It's the complete opposite. And what were we expecting is going to happen? That ideas and cultures that are completely alien to this country, where what they are taught um is completely different. But people are just going to come here and do what? Turn become English, especially when they're in the little, in their little areas, in their little bubbles, their own communities. No one, do you know what? There's no leadership in this country. There's no plan. Just get anyone in. We don't have any borders. People are just coming in. Any Tom, Dick, and Harry. They're being given mobile phones. They're using those mobile phones to make videos of people protesting against them having those mobiles and being in those hotels, and they're laughing at our face. I mean, I'm sorry, this country is an absolute joke. And I don't know, it seems like a deliberate attempt to mess things up. I don't know what people are waiting for. What are you waiting for? Well, like, what are we waiting for in this country? Like, are we waiting for something big to happen? Is this planned? I would rather the government be honest with me and says, you know what? We're going to let the extremists come in. The UK is now no longer a Christian country. The plan is for this to become the next third world country. And if they just be honest, then I'll just leave. But right now, I'm just assuming this is just an accident and therefore we need to be proactive. But I'm starting to wonder whether this is all just pointless in what I'm doing. Like, is it pointless? Have they already decided to mess this country up? And we just need to, I don't know, suck it up. I don't know.
I worked for government for a decade. I can tell you it's incompetence. The government does everything incompetently, absolutely everything. They don't employ the best people. You know, there's DEI all through the public sector. So we just employ people now because it's their turn. We don't believe in merit. It's full of ideology. So I'd say the vast majority of our problems in the UK is down to incompetence from the government. What's going to change it? Well, things are beginning to change. I can feel it in the air. I can see the demonstrations on the streets, and them by themselves won't change anything. But what is going to change it will be the forthcoming violence. There's going to be a spark at some point. Some idiot is going to do something horrendous, or there's going to be an accident, like the police will run somebody over, and that will cause the riot. But the next set of riots we get will go national, and different part of the country will burn, and people will lose their lives, and that's coming over the next couple of years. The best the government can do is try to contain that and then learn from that and make dramatic changes. Because if they don't, we're going to have a decade or two of urban violence, a little bit like Northern Ireland for 30 years, killing each other, shooting each other. And I don't think what you're doing is a waste of time. I think what you're doing is really, really important, because what that does is shows people in the country it's not all Muslims, it's not all brown people. Brown people are not the problem. Muslims per se are not the problem. What's the problem is the government and the people who live here, who've come here, who don't fit in. That's the problem. Because what we really need to avoid is going down the racial sectarian line, where just because you're brown, you're now my enemy. So we need to avoid that. It's going to be very difficult to avoid that. But voices like yours will be heard. And at least you can say, I've been talking about this for years and years and years. And I've been trying to educate my community. I did what I can do to save this country that I love. So don't think what you're doing is a waste of time. I don't think it is. I think it's one part of the plan we need if we're going to save this country. But it's the government. It won't be this government. It might not even be the next government, because I've lost all confidence in reform. It might be the government after that, or it might be the government that comes after mass violence. And I mean Northern Ireland type violence, machine guns, bombs, assassinations, revenge killings, punishment beatings. I'm talking about that type of violence, not shouty on the street and get arrested for using hurty words. I'm talking about serious third world violence. That is the only way I can see things changing, because the establishment don't want to change.
But do you know what? The problem with this is, from my perspective, is I'm gonna get I'm vulnerable from both sides, because there are those people who are white native British people who it doesn't matter what I say, because I'm still come from that background, which is not my fault. But like, and I'm not apologizing for it either. But like, you know what I mean? Like, they just don't want me. Even they would want me out as well. Doesn't matter what I say. Doesn't matter if I have British values or not. Then the people from my background, they see me as a sellout, as I'm a traitor. I get that all the time. You're a traitor. And I'm thinking, no, I'm not a traitor. I'm British. And I'm concerned about this country. And I'm trying to help people unite, but because they don't get it, because they're the very people that need to be booted out of this country. And then you said it yourself, Nick, third world violence. I mean, I'm trying to avoid the UK becoming a third world country, but I think what I'm hearing you say is it's inevitable that parts of that will start showing in the UK, and that's a very, very scary space to be in, especially because, like I said, I've got children, and I wouldn't want that as they're growing older, that this starts impacting them. Like I've said before, I'm growing old. They are gonna, become young adults, and they're gonna get caught up in all this rubbish. And but we can't do it alone. And you're right, we need to do something now, otherwise what's the point? But like I said, I think the situation in the UK is worse actually than what is reported. Even even it's worse than what's being reported, I feel, even by the citizen journalists. Because when I'm looking around, like I'm just thinking, and my personal experience of how low the intolerance is within the community and how much they're being catered for. Like there's so much sensitivity around Muslims when I'm thinking, actually, hold on, Muslims need to be a bit more proactive in trying to integrate and trying to do, and no one's saying that they're not trying or all this, but but a lot of these people from my background think they've got British values, but they don't. Sorry, they don't. You just, and if you're listening to this, guys, I'm sorry, guys. A lot of you guys don't. You really don't. Um, and what I'm trying to do on my channel is trying to help be a spark that, okay, they may not like what I'm saying now, but actually maybe in a month's time, in a year's time, they think, actually, do you know what? Lubna said this year ago. Oh, I get it now. I got it late, but I'm getting it after a month, after a year, after 2 years. That is what I'm hoping to be. I just want to be a spark, um, an intellectual spark. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not going to be able to save everyone and do everything, but and like I've said to my viewers, not many people want to go down this road because it's risky. You don't know. Some people think, oh, it's for the money. Seriously, I'm not getting paid that much money. I don't get paid that. I don't have like 1 million subscribers, and every single video of mine is doing 500,000 views, right? And I'm making content on a daily basis. And it's so risky that a lot of the money goes in the moving around and the security, right? And who wants to look over the shoulder for the rest of their life? The fact is, Nick, even if I stopped doing this now, there are people within the community who still will see me as a traitor and will never forgive me and will still try to hunt me down. But if I stop doing it, I won't get the support either. And like, it's like when you and I feel there's a massive injustice, right? So this whole time where I wasn't coming on and I stopped making content properly, I've been thinking about this. What am I doing? Am I going to completely stop? What shall I do? But I feel like there's such a massive need now of me doing this, and I feel such a sense of injustice. I feel like if we let the extremists win now, it's gonna embolden them even more. They'll be like, yes, we stopped Lubna, we threatened her. But do you know what? Threatening works. Let's do it again. There's another woman speaking up. Let's do that to her. And there's another person speaking up. So I was like, hold on, I need to kind of hold the fort now, but I can't do it by myself. And yes, 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 I need support. Okay, moral support, emotional support, whatever the hell. Watch my content, like, comment, share, or whatever little someone can do, it all will help. Because I genuinely believe we all need to unite, and all the small things add up. That's it. Yeah, sorry, I'm waffling now.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I'm glad you've not given up because you're right. They would see that as a victory and they would say, we beat her. And she wasn't that hard to beat, which means we can beat other people as well. And when you're talking about planting the seed that people may realize months and years from now, I think you're spot on. And I think I think your message is this really to the British Pakistani community. The message is this: I'm here to help you. Because if you don't change, 2, 3, 4% of the population will not survive because you're only 4% of the population. And when violence comes against the 96, you're not going to survive.
Nick, we're not 4%. I can guarantee you. Well, I thought the statistics were saying 6%. I'm telling you right now, the video that I released today, this is exactly what I said to my audience. I do not believe for a second that there's only 6% of Muslims in this country. You said 4%, but the statistics I heard were 6%. Those statistics are BS, I feel. Because like I said in my video today, everywhere I look, there are Muslims everywhere. Every single place you can think of, there are Muslims. Yes, there are certain towns you can see white people. There's not so many. I'm telling you right now, that 6% for me in my mind is like at least double that. It's at least double that figure. I will not believe if someone tells me the 6% or 4% in this country. I'm sorry. I'm telling you, the situation is worse than we are being told. And that is my fear now because I'm thinking, shit, do you know what? I've completely underestimated like this. Like we should have been talking about and having these conversations. And I'm not saying you weren't, you probably were, but I'd have been 10 years ago. Obviously, I was younger then and I was doing other stuff. And I wasn't even thinking about this kind of stuff. But like, I feel like we're so behind that if we don't get our shit together now, what you're saying is absolutely right. This will happen then. And I don't want it to. I don't want anyone to get hurt. And this is what I'm trying to explain to people, that what you need to understand if you're coming from my background is just saying Islamophobia, ooh, people out to get us, and discriminate against us. That's nonsense. Most people in this country just want to mind their own business. But if they feel, if they're not feeling, if they don't trust people from our background, then it's only upon us to correct that image. And by saying Islamophobia and crying all the time, that's not helping, guys, because that's what we've done so far. It's not helping. We need another tactic. Address the concerns that people have. Stop getting oversensitive. Come to the table, have a conversation. Stop threatening people online. And when someone from your background threatens other people like me, stop them. Condemn them. Don't say, yeah, whippy, she's no longer going to be posting. Because when you do that, don't be surprised when people think you're an extremist and you don't have British values, because that's exactly what you're displaying. Whew.
Yeah, well said. Because you're right. The Muslim community, yeah, you're right. It is 6% in the UK. They're the official figures. I was trying to aim for the Pakistani Muslim community, but it probably is more than 6% because we've got many million people. 2-3 million people living in the country that we don't even know are here, and the majority of them will probably be Muslims. I would say the Muslim community have made a rod for their own back. They are too insular, and they're making the native population not trust them, not like them, not want them, and not support them. It only ends badly. It only ends badly. Hence why we need your voice out there. The more people you can convert to see the light, to embrace British values and the love of the country and want to stay here, the better chance we've got of minimizing the violence and being able to move on from that.
Yeah, and I just want to, if there are any Muslims listening to this, what I would like you to remember is no one's asking you or telling you to give up your religion or your faith or whatever. There are so many, I say so many, it's possible to believe in your religion and keep your custom and traditions and don't feel as if that means you need to, having British values and integrating means you need to give up on anything. There is a way of balancing it. But some things you're going to need to keep personal. Like if you're living in a country like Pakistan, yes, it is very much social and everyone's a Muslim, right? So it doesn't really matter. You don't think about these things. But when you're living in a non-Muslim country, the religion part, you need to keep more personal, I would suggest, right? Keep it more personal to yourself. You and God, it should be between you and between God. And if we do that, then there'll be less issues. If you get demanding and want things like in the workplace that you're working in, you want halal meat now and these kind of things, and you're demanding you want a prayer room, right? When there's only one Muslim in the organization, that kind of stuff, I'm sorry, you can't expect a good reaction. This is not a Muslim country. Stop demanding things as if it is. And if you feel so bad about it, you can feel like free. You've got a British passport, go to a Muslim country. Like, there's the UAE, there's Saudi Arabia, there's other countries. Like, just I don't understand why these people are here if they feel like life for them is miserable here, right? I don't know. That's all I'd like to say. Don't feel like that you can't do both. You can. And no one's asking you to give anything up. People just want you to have British values when you're in Britain. That's it. Yes.
It's as simple as that. Someone's religion is a private matter. It's between them and God. I don't care what religion most people, follow. Or if you follow no religion, it's down to that individual. Lubna, thank you for coming on. It's a shame about the internet, but I'm sure we'll do this again soon with hopefully better internet. My final words is stay safe. Don't give up if you can help it. I mean, there might get to a stage where you have to give up. That's fine. That's a decision for you and your family. But stay safe. Don't trust anyone. Don't give your details out. And try to carry on as much as you possibly can.
Thank you very much, Nick, for inviting me, and apologies about the internet. Like I said, this is a reality of doing what I'm doing. It's not all going to be perfect. It is what it is, guys. But apologies. But thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon.